Okay, absolutely disgusting stuff here from this chief. We're going to play this clip. Plus, then the BC legislature talks about this. This clip's about 3.5 minutes. I'm going to play the entire thing just because. This account here, Francis Widowson, says, Chief Charlene Bello speaks about her interaction with me and to some extent Dallas Brody at Thompson Rivers U. I wish that our people could grab you, drag you over to the Kamloops residential school. I'm not going to read the rest of this quote because it comes up in the video. Trigger warning, as they say. What this woman, this chief, says toward the end of the video is actually insane and just completely reprehensible stuff. Let's watch.
I've had a chance to just read different people's views on denialism and people like Sean Carlton and other people within the academic field and on what they see as denialism and what they think they should do about it. I'm different, I think, because of my experience and my expectations as a survivor is that people need to speak up for us. I go back to my earlier story where my uncle committed suicide there. Mm-hmm. You know, I didn't think that anybody at TRU, for example, because they were Widowson and company and Brody came to TRU, and I phoned down to the people at the chancellor and advisor at TRU to come and meet with them. So I went to meet with them and I said, I'm going down to where they are. And they were concerned for my safety as an elder. But also I felt the need for me to say something if nobody was going to say anything, and I did. Mm-hmm. So basically what I did was, and what they offered and I accepted was for them to send security with me to make sure that I was safe. Mm-hmm. So I went down to where Brody and Widowson were, and I basically walked up to her and I just said who I was. And of course she knew who I was because she's followed me for years, or she's probably researched me to death, and that's fine. But I basically told her my story about my uncle. And I told her that this is the truth. You can read it in the books. It's researched. You know, it's real. And you are hurting our people. I was really angry. I was really angry with her. But I expressed my anger to her right there. And her cameras were there. She's made a documentary, you know, as a part of that. I doubt that I'm in that documentary, not that I've watched it, or neither do I want to. But I basically told her, you know, what you're doing is not right. You're hurting our people. You're hurting the survivors. You're hurting the elders. And stop. You know, I told her, I wish that our people could grab you, drag you over to the Kamloops residential school, put you into the basement, speak our language to you, nothing but Secwepemc, beat you, rape you, hurt you, and maybe you'd understand what our people went through. Mm-hmm. She never said anything to me or never responded to any of that, and I didn't expect her to. Mm-hmm. But I really needed to let her know that this is how I feel, mm-hmm. and that I'm going to stand up for our people. So after I finished that, there was a lady that had her drum there, and I asked her to just lend me her drum so I could sing a song for my uncle. And I started drumming, and that's when people were able to rally, the students that were there and the public that were there, to stand with me so that they didn't have to hear what she had to say.
Look, there is no excuse for that. This woman is undeniably a massive scumbag. To say that? Are you kidding me?
You into the basement, speak our language to you, nothing but Secwepemc, beat you, rape you, hurt you, and maybe you'd understand what we...
Full-grown adult. There's just no excuse for this. I saw, by the way, I'll finish the video off, Some people trying to make excuses for that. There is no excuse. I'm going to play this video now. Anyway, it's from the BC legislature. I'll just play the video. I won't even read the post. Here we go.
Video footage just surfaced of a chief from the Williams Lake area named Charlene Belleau saying the following about Professor Francis Widdowson, and I quote, "I wish that our people could grab you, drag you over to the Kamloops residential school, put you into the basement, speak our language to you, nothing but Sepwitmik, beat you, rape you, hurt you, and maybe you'd understand." Does the Premier agree with this chief that reconciliation should include Canadians getting beaten and raped? Or will he unequivocally denounce the chief's vile and inexcusable threats?
If that was a white man or a white woman that said that in any context, I think you can imagine they would have been fired 1,000 times by now. Unbelievable. We need to stop treating adults like children, regardless of what their title is or whatever victim class you want to put somebody in, because that's obviously the only way this person still has a job is because, oh, their past trauma or whatever someone's going to argue.
Minister of Indigenous Relations and Reconciliation.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I think I know what the member's trying to do here, and that's to further divide us over an issue which is very emotional.
Oh my gosh, man. What a scumbag as well. This guy, further divide. It's a very legitimate question. Did you hear what she said? How dare you, dude?
Which is very troubling and challenging.
Trying to divide. That was so gross, bro.
For all involved, and that's the issue of residential schools, and that's the issue of youth, of children who were taken away from their homes. They were not allowed to return. They were not allowed to speak their languages. They were not allowed to be who they were, and many of them never came home. I'm not sure exactly what the member is referring to, but I do know what she's tried to do in the past.
She just said it. Respond to what she said.
Insisting that the bodies of children who died at residential schools should be dug up, something that you would never insist in any other place in the world where the Holocaust or genocides occurred. That's not how we do these things. And so I'll certainly look to see what the member's referring to, but I just say that we need to respect victims here and not re-victimize people who've been in very difficult circumstances that I don't think anyone of us would stand if they were our children.
What a coward. He couldn't even speak up. He was looking at the ground the entire time. That's the first time I've ever seen this person. What a weaselly answer. Why don't you just respond to what she said?
Member has supplemental.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm speaking about one individual, not a group of people. Chief Charlene Belleau, who was openly bragging about uttering threats of sexual violence against a highly respected university professor. And in fact, last year, Chief Belleau received the British Columbia Reconciliation Award and the King Charles III Coronation Medal.
What a clown
The
show.
latter, Mr. Speaker, was on the nomination of our very own Premier. Will a Premier call today, right here and now, in this House, for Belleau to be stripped of these awards, or does he endorse her reconciliation revenge fantasies?
Fantastic question. I'm not familiar that much with BC politics, but shout out to this woman.
Endorse her reconciliation revenge fantasies.
Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a continuation of really quite terrible questions from this member about denying residential school and the harms that that type of rhetoric has on people all across this province and this country. The way she's phrased the question, the way she's posed it, offensive on so many ways.
What a scumbag as well. What is happening in British Columbia? Stop being so cowardly. Respond to what she said.
Mr. Speaker, we cannot forget that the reason that those two members are in the House right now is because of the party opposite. Because of those members that included that in their tent.
So now she's playing victim? What are you doing?
And we have to answer to this stuff over and over again, and it does harm to people. That's all I have to say. Thanks, Mr. Speaker.
What about the harm done to the person that was told about, like she said, the revenge fantasy of the raping and all this stuff? What about the harm done to her? Are you joking? This woman here and this guy gave the worst answers I've heard in a while in Canada, and that's saying something because Canada has turned into quite the clown show. Okay, final part of my video will be this post here from a guy named Aaron Pete. I debated on responding to this. He's talking about that clip I showed at the beginning. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but basically he goes, blah, blah, blah. I'm not excusing her behavior, but I do hope explaining it helps us find common ground. This lady was likely abused. That's no excuse to act like an insane person. It's just the way it is. You have to act like an adult in the world. Saying things like that, it's so harmful and so evil to this woman, Widowson, to be saying that. You don't just, oh, well, I was abused, so I'm going to be an awful person to others. It doesn't work like that. Anyway, that doesn't make the statement okay. And again, no matter what this rhetoric isn't good, blah, blah, blah. Like, anyway, the people in the comment section of this, I would say, were totally flaming him. If I click here, rightfully so, I'd say, yeah, Wyatt, I'm not excusing her behavior, proceeds to excuse her behavior. Basically, everybody, from what I saw, for the most part, was saying, like, dude, you can't be excusing this. What are we doing in Canada? I'll finish my video there. This story, though, it's just the sign of the times, I think, in this country. Let me know your thoughts. Please like, please subscribe. Have a great day.